What's up YouTube, back again with another video, and today we're going to unbox, take a look at, and then I'll give you a little tip and trick to get the most out of your Dustx58 from Eachine, alright? So this is a 58mm brushless guide, alright, D8, alright, this is going to be D8 protocol, alright, with telemetry hooked up, so you'll get your, telemetry lost warnings. And real simple one to bind up. So let's take a look. This is the box, what you get in the box. Now I made a couple modifications already to mine, and I'll explain that to you in a second when we get to that. But you open up the box here, you got your battery in a little slot. You get your extra spare props. These are 40mm. All right, so they look similar to a tiny whoop prop, but they're actually bigger. These are 40mm. So if you go to buy more of these, that's what you're looking for. 40mm with I think it's a 1mm shaft size, something like that. You also get a charger for the micro low-C connector that's comes stock on there. A little piece of Velcro and a little piece of double-sided sticky foam. The USB charger will work. It'll get you started if that's all you have. But again, I'll show you in a second. I'm not using any of that, so let's get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. Alright, now let's take a look at the drone. Now, this is like my first bind and fly. Well, I bought the Jumper X86, and I had nothing but problems with that. But that one and this one, these are my first bind and flies that I've bought in a really long time. With the winter coming up, we need small drones. So you can see it's a 58mm. It's very small. I meant to bring my whoop down here, but I didn't. All I have here's a 130 sized micro with 2.5-inch props. So you can see the difference. It's like a Stretch X version. So we got an X layout here. We got a carbon little prop protector, which I actually like. I thought it was maybe a little flimsy because look, there is some flex in this. This is like 1mm carbon. The frame's very minimal, very thin, but so far so good. It's been holding up, and I've been crashing it around. It's very light. Tell you what, let's get a weight and we'll take the measurements. I guess I should have had this prepped, right? All right, let's get the weight. Without the battery, 26 grams. It's 26.4 grams, and with the battery, again with a couple modifications, 37.9 grams. So it's a very, very light model. Flies off a 1S. All right, so we got a 1S, 450 milliamp hour 1S battery, and it does come stock with this connector. So if you do need to use this, we'll get into this in a minute, but it does come stock with that connector. All right, 450 milliamp hour, 1-cell battery. Let's take a look. Of course, my battery's dead, but we can kind of get an idea. Yeah, it's about 1mm. I'm looking to see there's 1mm there. Very thin. I have to get a new battery for my caliber. Awesome. Awesome timing. Now, I took this out of the box. Okay. And first thing you're going to need to do is bind it. Now, if you look down right here, there's your bind button. So you're going to hold that, plug it in, and you'll be able to bind it, right? So that's step one. Step two is your camera. This back button here is going to do your selections of your all-in-one cameras. 25 milliwatt, all right. 40, there's at least a 40 channel. I think it's 40, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. No, 8. Yeah, 40 channel. So you got your main channels A, B, E, F, R. You hold this button, the LED will jump over. I guess we should plug that in and I can show you that. Alright. So there's your LEDs, your bands are on the top, channels are on the bottom. Quick press changes your channel. And a long press will change your band, and it'll scroll through your bands like that. Just bring it back to my band. Alright, now this front button flips the image. And I don't quite understand what the user point of that is, but when you push that button, it actually makes the picture upside down. So there's that. So that's your camera. You got a little dipole antenna here on the top, soldered on, which I like. You got a little bit of a camera angle here, and you can kind of move it a little bit. It's in this little 3D mount, 3D printed mount, but it's kind of just double sticky taped in there, and then the mount screwed on top, which I like. I mean, it's very simple. And like I said, I've been crashing this thing around, and it's been holding up very well. I'm pretty happy with it. 40 millimeter props. We got 0703 motors. Racing Edition 0703, 20,000 kV. You can see there. So they do got some punch for a 1S. Now, if you're flying a tiny whoop, a brushed tiny whoop, even with your high volt batteries and all the other stuff, I still don't think you're gonna match the performance of something like this. Now, it's like 80 or 90 bucks. I think the price is a little steep. However, I am enjoying it and I am having some fun. Now, on to the bad parts. With the stock battery, with this stock connector, all right, I was just barely getting a 2-minute flight time. About a 1 minute 50-second flight time before I started getting dropouts. And for me, yeah, it's doable. My tiny whoop I'm getting about 2.5 minutes or so. For me, I'm thinking try to get a solid 3-minute flight time. For me, 3 minutes of indoor flight with a couple batteries, that's enough, right? My Jumper X86 with the 450 batteries, I'm getting 4.5 minute flight times, which is like really great. But here on a 1-cell, power's at a minimum. So first thing you're going to want to do is switch over to a JST. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you the couple little tricks to get right to a solid 3-minute flight time. You're going to want to go to these red JSTs. All right, and I'll tell you why. Now, you want to make sure you get a JST with a nice thick wire. Right here, if you look at the difference, right there, this wire is 2 times thicker. And second of all, the connector is also got more surface area in there connecting it. So it's a connector that can handle more power. So I use, on 1-cell, use all these connectors, and then 2-cell, 3-cell, use XT30. For me, it just kind of simplifies the charging, you know. So after I put this connector on and switch the connector over on here, this battery gets me about 2.5 minutes of solid flight time. Still okay, not the greatest, maybe a little less, over 2 minutes, let's say with that. Here is what you're going to want to do. The thing you're going to want to do immediately. I think that I got 2 of these for about 12 bucks on Amazon. These are 450 milliamp hour. You can just look at the size, you see the difference. Same milliamp hour, but a much bigger battery, right? These are rated at 80 to 160C. I don't know, whatever that, you know, if you believe that or not. But with this connector now, it came with a a MCMX or whatever 2.0 pitch. This isn't a bad connector. If I had the other side to this connector, I probably would have used it, but I didn't. I only have these connectors. So I swapped it out for this connector. A nice thick wire, good connection. And onto this battery, I'm getting 3 minutes, 3+. If I'm being conservative, I can get 3.5. If I'm ramping on it, I still get a solid 3-minute flight time. So for me, that's the sweet spot. And I also tried this 500 milliamp hour battery. This is something else that I had. I'm getting about 2.5 minutes off that as well. But this is the winner right here. For like 12 or 13 bucks, you can get 2 of these, and that's what you're going to want to pair it up, and you're going to be good to go. So that's the trick. Switch over the connectors, and you'll be good to go. That's pretty much it for the Jumper X, or the the Dustx58 from Eachine, right? I think it's a 4 amp 1-cell 4-in-1 ESC with an F3 flight controller. No OSD or anything like that, but I do have it updated with Betaflight 3.2.2, and I do have the ESCs upgraded to 16.67, so it does have D-Shot commands, so I can flip it over in the event of a crash, and I can show you that, actually.
Welcome to OpenTX.
To prove it, and that'll prove that we're on Betaflight 3.2. The one thing is, though, it is kind of, the tone is kind of low. There's your beeper. All right, now like an alarm. And if we flip it over, there you go, flipped over. So that's pretty much it. All the features and cool things you could want possibly in a little micro drone. I think it's decent. I think it's you know, if you're looking for something small for the house, I think it's not a bad pickup. But you're gonna have to do this mod, you know, to get a couple, you know, an extra minute of flight time. I think it's worth it. There you go. That's all I got to say. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.